Okay, this is DJ Mega Game 17, and I'm here with a Bleach discussion video. So, yeah, I'm just pumping these things out now. So here's something I've been wanting to discuss for a while now, but I've decided to hold off on it for some time. I was actually gonna make this when the battle with the Easter Raiders happened, but considering how that turned out, well, whatever. So here's the thing. There are now like 6 starters left. So I want to discuss like the possible matchups of what's happening, as well as to clarify some things I've been linking in the comment section of some videos. Now, if you've seen any of my comments on certain videos, whether it be like from Neverworld, checking from King of Lightning, or maybe even like you get some videos, or King Recon since I occasionally comment on those too. I have been mentioning, I've been very vocal about how I feel about this whole Century versus X-Axis thing going down. Well, that going down anyway. Personally, I am not a fan of that because I don't think Century should be fighting this guy. I think he should be fighting Hashfold for a few reasons. Well, two of the main ones is both aesthetically and ability-wise. So let me first go into reasons why I have a problem with this. Well, first and foremost, I don't think Century's gonna struggle against this guy. I really don't. Some people say Century's gonna go bonk this fight. I don't see it unless this winds up being his final fight, which again which I wouldn't be happy about. Because I mean, yeah, X-Axis is cool and everything. He's an elite guard, but he's still a henchman. The reason why I say he should fight Hashball because Hashball is the closest thing to like fighting the leader of the group. Century is now the head captain. Fighting someone like the X-Axis just seems beneath him, if anything. Like, that's how I feel about that. Plus, Hashfold's ability, I think, is something that will legitimately force Sushri to have to go Bankai and not feel like forced because Kubo has to show it. You see, Sushri's ability is to make children's games reality. Now, the big theory about what his Bankai is going to be is to make adult games reality, which would make sense because, the Bankai is supposed to be like an extension of the Shikai, or, basically the, Shikai next being taken to the next level. Now, there's a few cases where that's debatable, but most of the time that's usually the case. So, his ability is very hacked to the point of being broken. And the only person I can see really pushing to that level, aside from Juha Bach, would be Hashbolt. Because because Hashbolt is the balancer. He has the ability to tip things, balance the scale, tip things to his favor. Considering how Century's games work, I think Hashfold would be the best opponent for him. And going back to the aesthetics thing, he's the second in command. He's Juha Bach's right hand man. He's the Grand Master. So it would make sense for the head captain to go against him. Now there is still a chance that he will fight him. But that leads me to my next problem, which is the fact that Shinsuke winds up taking out two elites by himself. Here's the thing, I kind of get what's happening because I guess Shinsuke still needs to show like all of the abilities of the Shikai, I suppose, but I feel like this should have happened with Robert Alcatron, especially since that fight was actually set up. Like both that fight and the fight with Hashball was set up. So what I think what should have happened is that Shinsuke should have had a rematch against Robert Alcatron where he finished him off, and you got to see like the rest of his Shikai abilities, and then the battle with Hashball would be the fight where he goes all out, where it's basically truly a battle to the death. That's how I see that going down. At least how I think it should go down. What I'm hoping in this fight is that Sunsui either maybe not gets bored with the fight, but something comes up and he has to leave. I'm hoping that he tags out and with Shinji. Because here's the thing, there's still characters in this series that still need fights. Whether it be fights within the second invasion. Because here's the thing, there are characters who haven't had fights yet within the second invasion, since this arc started, since the time skip began, or just in general. Now there are certain characters that we're probably never gonna get like a real fight from them because it's rather too late now, like a lot of the vice captains. But I still would like to see some of their abilities at the very least. But as far as characters that I would say on the more important scale, um like some more important vice captains like Hizagi, Renji, Rukia, along with well I guess Yachiyo too if she ever comes back, depending on whatever happened to her. Well, there's that whole theory about her being Kampachi's Damato spirit, but I'm not gonna get into that. Oh yeah, Kampachi. Kampachi, Byakuya, Shinji, Love, Rose, Toshiro, Rangiku, maybe Soy Phone, but now do we think so with her? But those guys that I mentioned, along with like Ichako Yumachika, like those guys still need some fights. I don't think obviously they're not gonna get one-on-one fights unless Juhabak brings in more steroids, which would be cool. Either that or they have to fight the Royal Guard, but even now that still wouldn't be enough. Yes, I'm aware of the whole theory about the Royal Guard possibly fighting against the Soul Society, but even if that happens, that's only going to be adding 5 more opponents to how many opponents do we have now? What, 11? Well, that would equal, yeah, that would be 11, but that still wouldn't be enough because 2 of them are more or less reserved for Ichigo. Because you have Ichigo over his Uyu, which is set up, and then you have Ichigo over his Juabak. Now there is a possibility that Uyu may team up with Ichigo to fight Juabak, but there's still other characters that still need fights, and there's some I actually forgot to mention, like Kisuke, Ishin, Ryukin, Tessai, the other Visors that I didn't mention yet, the Fullbringers, mainly Ginjo and Tsukishima, because those are the ones that were actually captain level, or at least they were close to captain level. Those 2 are the main ones that I would say should get a fight. Maybe Ganju, that one's debatable. Maybe Uncle Kaku. There's also Shadow and Hime and Kon. Like Shadow and Hime and Kon and Ganju, they need something to do. They're still like Ichigo's friends, his school friends, the Earth friends. He has like Tatsuki in them. I'm not sure if they're gonna get to do anything, or Ichigo's younger sisters. I would hope they get to do something in this arc. Hopefully, the 2 kids in the horror shop. There's still a lot of characters that still need fights and just need something to do. Of course, there's also Grimjow, Nell, Halle Bell, and like the Prevo and Spada. But I don't think the Prevo and Spada are gonna get that much combat play because they're not that important. But those 3 Spada, Grimjow, Nell, and Halle Bell, they have to do something. For the way things are looking right now, they're gonna be fighting Askin. So this is the way I see this fights are gonna go. As I said, I think there's a possibility Shunsui is going to lead the fight, and Shinji's going to take over, and then whoever's and the people that's within that group is going to help Shinji fight him. I think it would be a good fight because I think that would actually be a fight that would force Shinji to go Bankai, and plus Shinji's ability would actually work well against X-axis, the X-axis. So I think that would actually be, I think that would be an interesting fight, and plus, the writers they need some type of redemption for what they've been getting. People complain about their performance in the Fake Out Curve Town arc. That's nothing compared to how they've been in this arc, especially in the second invasion. They've just been getting taken. They've just been getting dumped on like hard. It's not even that they're weak. It's just they're incompetent. And honestly, I would say incompetence is much worse than being weak. Because you can make up for being weak. Being incompetent is just terrible in every sense of the word. And these guys are showing, at least making it questionable as to why these guys are captains and vice captains. Because those are very high ranks. So they need some type of redemption. Kente too. As far as Toshiro is concerned, I know a lot of people aren't happy about him coming back. I'm indifferent to it. I already knew he was gonna come back, but I'm not mad about it, nor am I happy about it per se. I'm just whatever with it. I'm just hoping Kubo actually does something with him and not just take a dump on him again. But if he does fight Aizen again, he gets trapped on. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna laugh my butt off. It's gonna be hilarious. But if he gets trapped on by anyone else, it will be annoying. I know Rangiku's supposed to have like her backstory is supposed to play a big part in this arc, so I already knew she was gonna come back at least. And plus, they still need closure with the whole Ishin thing. So that's another reason why they coming back will be beneficial, at least story wise. Again, I have no idea where Ishin and Ryukin are. They need to come back already. We haven't really seen them. We haven't seen much of them in this arc. You would think they'd be big players considering, the stuff that's at stake, the people that's involved. But they're not, and it's weird. We've seen very little of them. We've seen even less of Ryukin. We've only seen Ryukin in that flashback mini arc, the Everything But the Rain OP. Uh, and again, I'm hoping Icho's sisters actually get to do something. I'm not expecting anything significant from them by this point in the story, but who knows? Maybe, maybe they might surprise us all. So now, as far as the whole Bankai thing, who still needs to go Bankai? Because there's characters that not only need to show their Bankai in general, but there's characters that need to re-show their Bankais because they changed and they evolved. A lot of people saying Renji and Rukia, maybe. I guess they could show it again one more time. I'm not sure how much more they can show. Well, actually, Rukia, I think she could show more because she just got hers. Well, Renji just got his too, but I think Rukia might have a little more to show than Renji does, though. So I guess them again, Hizaki obviously needs to show his Bankai. Yes, he does have a Bankai. At least it said he had a Bankai. I still think Izuru may have had a Bankai because, the thing, or at least I hope he does, because Kubo's kind of hyped his Bankai up. If he ever had one, because he said that his Bankai made him sick to his stomach. I really want to see what that is. Ironically, his is probably one of the ones I'm the most excited for to see. But there's a very little chance we're going to see it now because he may or may not be dead. Now there's a rumor going on that he's not dead and that he's like some cyborg now or something, or an android or something. Myri made him into something like that. I have no idea. If he is alive, I hope he does. I hope that he goes Bankai and we get to see it. Same case with Rangiku, because it was stated that like outside of Renji and Rukia, the other people that were close to achieving Bankai were Hizagi, Izuru, and Rangiku. Which kind of makes sense if you look at their characters and what we know about them. You would think Momo would be in the equation too because she was, one of the people with Renji's camp. That's kind of like a genius. And that's another thing too. Momo needs redemption too. And again, going back to the whole Shinji fight, I think that would be a good time for both of them to get redemption. And plus, we get to see them actually interact with each other for a change. And I think she's actually still around. She hasn't been sniped yet, so just saying, it'll be nice to see her finally get her time to shine and at least redeem her of all her eyes and fangirling nonsense. Now, when it comes to the Miracle, there are a few people I would say that should fight the Miracle. Obviously, Kenpachi. I would say Byakuya. Kind of like remnants of the whole like Kenpachi Byakuya versus Yami fight, which we never got to see. At least not all of it. It's like when the fight was starting to get interesting, it got skipped, and then he was defeated. This time we can finally get to see something like that. I'd also probably throw in like Kensei, Shad, and Cole into the fight, and maybe like Hikaku, Renji, and Yumachika. Because Renji and Hikaku, they're physical fighters, and that would actually be a good time to show off their new Bankais. And yes, Hikaku still has Bankai people. It's just that it's changed. It's supposed to be weaker now, but who knows? It's funny because people have been saying that the Bankais have gotten some Bankais are weaker now than they used to be, but I think that's debatable because they seem to be getting remade now, so that doesn't really seem to apply that much. And plus Mayuri is the one that modified Ikaku, so I'm pretty sure he was able to work around that. Come on, he's only used his Bankai once in the entire series. There's potential in that. I want to see him use it again, and I kind of want to see Yuji go Bankai, but who knows? All right, that's the miracle. Oh yeah, I should probably bring up the whole Chad thing. Well, there's a few reasons why I want to see Chad fight the miracle. One is because I kind of want him to I want to see him get his butt handed to him so bad that it redefines failure. I think that would be quite hilarious. Either that or he actually wins against the miracle, and I just want just to see the fan base's reaction to it. Because it would be hilarious to see all the rage comments say like, "What the fuck just happened? This is some bull crap," and to see how the very few fans of Chad actually react to it. you know, Plus, he still needs to show what he can do. Although I don't think he can do much. Personally, I'm more excited to see Cone do something. Like yeah, I'm a muscle with the king of New York. Come on now. All right, so who else is next? Because Pernita got taken out by Mayuri and with the assist of Nemo and Kimpachi. So who else was next? I already talked about Hasbro and oh yeah, I forgot Askin. Actually, I talked about Askin already. So I think the last one I have to talk about is no, that's it. I think that's everyone I talked about. The only person left, I guess, is Drew Bach. Now, I do think Aizen might fight Drew Bach because he's another one that still needs to do something. First off, he has to go Bankai, but I can see Kubo trying to weasel his way out of that one because Aizen's Bankai is probably the most hyped up Bankai in the entire series. More hyped up than Sunshri, more hyped up than Kisuke, more hyped up than Ishin's, more hyped up than Izuru or Hizaki, anyone honestly, or Yamamoto for that matter. I would say even more than Ichibe's or any of the Royal Guards. Because Aizen, first of all, base level Aizen is twice the power of a captain. And then you have ascended level Aizen, which is just ridiculous. And the fact that he did all that without going Bankai just leaves that, what if he did though? Especially if he used it in his ascended form. And plus, there's also the whole whether or not Aizen actually successfully fused with his Zamakuto like Ichigo did. In which case, if he did, then Aizen is probably more powerful than he's ever been. Personally, I think he did fuse with his Zamakuto because, I mean, contrary to the dialogue that Aizen said, because Aizen said, I think he said that he no longer needs a sword. He never said that he no longer needed his Zamakuto. I think when he said he no longer needed a sword, I think that meant he fused. He said he had successfully fused with his Zamakuto. And remember, he was about to evolve again. I think he was going to reach what would have been his final form. But Kisuke put Ichigo and Kisuke put a stop to that. Because let's say if he did succeed in doing that, Ichigo would have lost horribly. Because if Aizen really did succeed in merging with his Zamakuto along with the Hogyoku and the other powers that the other beings or whatever species that he tried to fuse himself with, like hollows and stuff, he would have been like, I guess what Ichigo and Ichibei are now, which is truly ascended beings. Actually, Aizen already achieved that. Think about it. When when they try to release Aizen, Aizen was able to basically mess with Shunshui and Juabak. He was messing with their perception of time, yeah, their perception of time. I think he tricked Shunshui into unlocking something else instead of what he was trying to unlock. And plus, when the Hito Corps tried to get near him, they disintegrated. Why would that happen if he's tied up to the chair? The chair is supposed to be like suppressing his power. Chair Sama. Just saying. There's also a joke theory going around that the chair is Aizen's Bankai, which would be hilarious if that's true though. Chair Sama. That's gotta be cool though. Looks like it goes Bankai like Bankai Chair Sama. Either that or he's gonna say now troll Kubo Suigetsu. Yeah, that's another popular theory that Aizen's Bankai is him turning into Kubo. I really do think that's gonna happen. I really do. I would say there's at least a 40% chance of that happening. It's Kubo. So, as far as who I would have had Aizen fight, I actually would have had him fight Pernita, to be honest. Because remember, Pernita was the left arm of the Soul King, so that would have been the closest thing of Aizen actually fighting the Soul King. Either that or have him fight either Juha or Hashwell. Those are the three characters I would have Aizen. I would think Aizen should fight. He probably still wind up fighting one of them. Who knows? With Aizen, we have no idea what he's gonna do. We don't know what his plans are. We don't even know he's even in the royal palace right now. Now, if he's not, that may not be a good thing because the worst thing you could do is leave Aizen alone. Someone has to be watching him 24/7 because leaving Aizen alone, he can plot whatever. And plus, he also brought up this whole thing about he could use his spiritual pressure to bring the royal palace down from the sky to the Cemetery. So if they left him there by himself, that could be very catastrophic. Just putting that out there. And plus, and then we might be able to see Ichigo versus Juha round 2. No, I mean Ichigo versus Aizen round 2. Although personally, I just rather prefer seeing Ichigo versus Aizen versus Juha. So I think those are all the matchups that I can think of right now. I can't really mention anymore because we don't have enough stories or anything to really go by. The only other thing I can imagine, like as far as everyone else getting fights, is if there turns out to be like if there wants to be like a split in the Soul Society, like one party decides to fight for this side and one party decides to fight for that side, that type of thing. That's the only way I can see that going down. But I think that's about it. Actually, I could mention one more thing, which is the royal possible fights with the royal guard, if that actually does happen. If that does happen, then I could find Ichibei. That would be another good fight. And then you could have like the top tier, like I would say the captains are like royal guard level, like at least the ones I think they're royal guard level, like Kisuke and them. Like Kisuke, Ishin, those guys could fight like the royal guards. If that comes to be like Kisuke, he could fight what's that dude's name? No, the chick Shutara, he could fight her. Ishin could fight Oetsu. Yeah, why not? Either him or have Kenpachi fight him. That would be cool. And then have either Byakuya or Yoruichi fight what's that dude's name? Korinji and now Higafune. I have no idea who would fight her actually. I really don't know. That's a good one. Who would fight her? I would have. I think I'm gonna have to actually ponder this one. I don't know, Ryukin. All right, let's go with Ryukin. That'll be an okay fight. And then, am I forgetting somebody? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. I'm definitely forgetting somebody. No, I think that's everybody. I mentioned everyone. Yeah, I did. That's everybody I mentioned. So those are the matchups that. Those are the possible matchups that could happen. You can leave a comment about about fights you think that could happen or fights you want to see. Characters who you think should be fighting, characters you want to see fight, characters you want to see go all out, maybe confrontations that you want to see happen within this arc. Because I don't, because who knows when this arc is going to end? Some people say it's going to end next year. I still think this arc may go on for like another 2 years. That's just me. Because there's still quite a few things Kubo needs to address before he can just end the series. Now I'm not sure if all of the things that need to be addressed is going to be addressed, but there are certain things that do need to be fully addressed, like the five war potentials, the other noble families, the Kenpachis. Well, that one may not be fully addressed, but stuff like that. The history of the Soul Society, the first war between the Vondenreich and the Soul Society, the original Gold 13 captains. You know, that type of stuff. As well as Drew Harbach's history with the Soul Society. That type of stuff needs to be addressed. What the Soul King is needs to be addressed. How Drew Harbach got in possession of the left hand of the Soul King needs to be addressed. Because that's just weird. Especially having that thing serve as a Stern Raider, that's just odd. That chick that Udiu was talking to, not Udiu, Hashball was talking to on chapter 544. Like, who is she? Is she anybody important? Is she a father member? I would like to see that get addressed. As well as, the original Vonderite, the original Star Raiders, because that's another theory that's going around, is that Joe Box is going to resurrect the original Star Raiders, which I do hope happens. Which is why I say the arc could go on for another 2 years. I know some people want this arc to end now, but personally for me, I would rather the series end with that feeling of completion. I don't want this series to end like abruptly. Last thing that needs to happen is just for Kubo just to rush things, which has already been happening. With the whole Kubo taking a long time but rushing through things at the same time thing. I'd rather Kubo take his time with things and actually, flesh some things out. So, that's other things that could happen. Again, I hope he resurrects the original Server too. Until then, I'm not gonna make another matchup video until something like that happens, I guess. So hopefully the fight with the X-Axis is decent or whatever. Hopefully some other characters get to shine. Hopefully we'll get to see Now do something. You know. Anyway, I think this video's gone long enough. Rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys want to see, what battles you want to see, who will be confronting all of that, and I'll catch you later.